This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, all. So, other day we have discussed about these accounting setups, like we have created legal entities, primary ledgers, ledger options, assigned legal entities to our primary ledger, assigned balancing segment values to the legal entities, and we have created operating units, and these are the components assigned to my operating unit, that is primary ledger, legal entity, and business group. A primary ledger is to secure, meaning when we are going to convert sales and purchase transaction, those are going to be journalized into primary ledger, and every sales and purchase transaction is a legal transaction. Their taxes information is going to come from my legal entity, and while processing the transactions in this, it is going to share human resources from my business group. Now we are going to understand the concept of these profile options. What are these profile options is? Profile options are basically used to determine the behavior of Oracle applications, forms and programs. Now these profile options can be set at 4 levels. These profile options can be set at 4 levels. That is, site. Site meaning here, let me just, meaning each server will have only one site. Each instance will have only, meaning site is nothing but my instance. Instance is each single installation of the application is called as an instance. Each single installation is called as an instance. And one site is going to host one or more applications like GL, AR, AP, GL, AR, AP. Like we have many applications, right? One application can have one or more responsibilities, like one responsibility, meaning for one module we can define any number of responsibilities, and these responsibilities are going to be accessed by our users like user 1, user 2, right? Maybe this is R3 and R4 responsibility. This is some R5 and R6 responsibilities. These responsibilities can be accessed by different users. Maybe according to this user 1, we have assigned the responsibilities as R1, R2. These are the responsibilities which are going to be accessed by these users. Now, when we set the profile option at site level, say I'm going to say, for example, we have created many ledgers here according to our business process or business units. You take any of the example here. Here, maybe you have created some India primary ledger, US primary ledger, UK primary ledger, Singapore primary ledger. Like this, we might have created so many primary ledgers in an instance. Now, I'm talking about one of the profile option, that is site level. I'm going to set GL ledger name, meaning this is a profile option which is used to assign primary ledgers to your site, user, or application level, ledger level. Now, for example, here I'm going to assign Which one? India primary ledger. I'm going to assign India primary ledger. Now, when I'm going to set the profile option at application level, which application? Meaning I have to specify. Say for example, GL application. Meaning site, it doesn't ask you anything because the site is nothing but my instance level. When I'm setting the profile option at application level, will ask you for which application you wanted to set this profile option. Now here, same profile option. Here I'm going to assign US primary ledger. And here I can also set the profile option at responsibility level. Maybe I'm going to set the profile option at R1 responsibility. And this is general ledger, GL ledger name. Here I'm going to assign UK PL. And we can also set the profile option at user level. Which user? U1. GL ledger name is a profile option, and this is maybe Singapore primary ledger. Now, like this, we can set the profile options at different levels: site, application, responsibility, and user. But when we set the profile option at all the levels, the point is user level profile options will override, user level profile options will override responsibility level, responsibility level profile options will override application level, and application level override application level will override site level, right? Now what I'm trying to tell you is, here first we'll give the preference to which profile options? User level. If it is not having any user level profile options, then we'll try to use the profile option which is set at responsibility level. And even if it is not set at user and responsibility, then it will use application level. If it is not set at user, responsibility, and application, then by default it will use the value which is set at my site level, right? Now just try to understand. Here this is a site, these are all the applications, and these are the responsibilities defined for GL, and these two are the responsibilities defined for here, and these are the users who are going to access these responsibilities. Now when this user is opening the forms from R1 responsibility, user 1 is opening the forms from R1 responsibility. R1 is a responsibility defined for GL. A GL is a module which is going to come under this instance. Now the forms will be opened with which ledger? Now the forms will be opened with which ledger? Meaning here we have 4 ledgers. So when I opening, say there is only one form which has been developed, the same forms can be accessed from different responsibilities, but the behavior of the forms is going to be different from one application to another application, or one responsibility to another responsibility. That depends upon our profile option settings. Now when this user is connected and accessing R1 responsibility, can you guess the forms are opened with which ledger? Forms are opened with which ledger?
Singapore.
Singapore ledger. Perfect. How it is Singapore ledger? So user is going to access a responsibility. Responsibility is defined for some module, and that module is installed in some site. Now, the point is here, this user, meaning it is always first going to give the preference to which level profile option here. User level profile options will override. Here, no doubt, the profile option is being set at user level, responsibility level, application level, and also site level. Here, user 1, R1, GL. It is set at all the three levels, but user level will override all the other levels. Now the forms are opened with Singapore primary ledger. Now we have another user, user 2. Just try to understand. User 2, the same responsibility can be assigned to one or more users. So same R1 responsibility when we are going to access through user 2 responsibility. Now the forms will be opened with which ledger? User 2 is accessing which responsibility? R1 responsibility. Now the forms will be opened with which ledger? So in this case, the profile option is not set at user 2 level. Then it is going to access which responsibility here? R1. And for R1, the profile option value is UK primary ledger. So when user 2 is going to access R1 responsibility, the forms are opened with UK primary ledger. Am I clear on this point here? Now the same user 2 accessing R2 responsibility. Now the forms are opened with which ledger? Same set of forms when we are processing. Which one?
Same UK.
Not UK. Say first it is going to check for the profile option at user 2. Is there any profile option which is set at user 2? No. Then we are going to access which responsibility here? R2. We did not set the profile option for R2. We have set it for R1 but not for R2. Then R2 is a responsibility defined for which application here? GL application. For GL it is USPL. So same user 2, when they are going to access R2 responsibility, now the forms are opened with US primary ledger. Because the profile option is not set at user level, responsibility level, then it is going to use the profile option which is set at application level. Am I clear on this point? Fine. Now see here, R2 user 2 is accessing R3 responsibility, but R3 is a responsibility defined for which module here? AR module. Now the forms will be opened with which ledger? So first it is going to check, is there any profile option which is set at user 2? No. R3? No. But R3 is a responsibility defined for AR application. Is there any profile option which is set at AR application? No. So it is not set at user level, responsibility level, and application level. Then by default, it is going to use the profile option which is set at my site level. So here it is going to use India PL. I'm just discussing this only how the profile option will override the other level and how many levels we can set this profile option. So based on the profile option settings only, the form's behavior will get changed. Am I clear on this concept? Any questions on this, please?
Clear.
Okay. Now we have to set the following profile options. So hope if you remember, I already have created responsibilities for, we have created a responsibilities for inventory, payables, or what is it? What responsibilities have been created?
GL, HR.
Only GR and HR, right?
Yeah, I think. 3 responsibilities. Sysadmin, yeah, correct.
GL, HR, and HR, GL, and inventory. Okay. Now for HRMS responsibility, will connect to application, and with what name we have created our user, GGSS, right? Now go to set the profile options. We have to switch to which responsibility here? System administrator. System administrator. Go to profile options. Network error.
In case if we don't have the sysadmin responsibility,
Hmm?
don't have the sysadmin responsibility assigned in real time.
Yeah, generally this all profile options and all will be set by a super user who's having access to this system administrator responsibility. Since it is demo version, I have directly assigned system administrator responsibility I'm setting. But here, before you are implementing the project, what profile options have to be set? Those all details have to be sent to system administrator. So accordingly, they will set the profile option. But some implementers, for some consultants, they give access to even this system administrator. So to set the profile options, profile system, profile system. There is a network issue. Profile, system. At what level you wanted to set up this profile option? So I wanted to set up the profile option at responsibility level. What happened? It's not responding. Let me just check the services. Profiles, system at responsibility level. What is the issue here? I'll restart the server. It may take around 10 minutes. But you understood this concept here, profile options. Now we are going to set the profile options for which responsibilities here is. We are going to first meaning profile options for the following responsibilities. For GL responsibility, GL responsibility, we are going to set which profile option here. For GL responsibility, GL ledger name profile option. GL ledger name profile option. Now, using this responsibility, I mean to say GL ledger name, what is the ledger that we have created? That is GSS primary ledger. So that whenever we are going to process the transactions from this responsibility, will be allowed to process transactions for this primary ledger. And for HRMS responsibility, for HRMS responsibility, we are going to set a profile option called as HR business group, which is here we are going to assign GSS BG, that is business group. Now let me just here HR security profile. HR security profile. Hope if you remember when I have created this business group, When we create a business group, application internally generates a default security profile application internally generates a default security profile with the same name as business group. The default security profile will give us access security will give access to all the organizations defined under the business group. Now, when we set this profile option, or why do we need to set this profile option? Now, to this HRMS responsibility, we have assigned business group. Now, from this responsibility, any organizations that I'm going to create, like HR organizations, inventory organizations, business groups, or any organizations that I'm going to create under this responsibility, by default, all these organizations are going to be created under this business group. Meaning this is basically used to assign the business. This profile option is set to assign the business group to all the organizations which are defined from this responsibility. So these two are the profile options initially we have to set. One is to restrict your GL responsibility to access our primary ledger, and another is to restrict this HRMS responsibility to a particular business group, so that every organization created under this HRMS responsibility now will be created under my own business group. No, but first we have to set the profile options. We have to wait for the server to get up.
Sir, but we have already created the HRMS responsibility, and
Yes.
we have created some organizations, right? So like business group,
No,
some other
business
responsibility.
business
Some
group
other
is a
responsibility.
no business group is the top level in the organization structure that can be created from any HRMS responsibility. But when you are going to create inventory organizations, HR organizations, operating units and all, we must, before creating them from HRMS responsibility, we first have to set this profile option.
We have already created some operating units also. So Will it come under this one? If we assign the business group, then automatically that will